Hello and welcome. We are Bleeding Tree Gaming. My name's Amy, aka Warpfiend, and I'm
Uh,
joined by.
you are joined by Tammy, aka the Autumn Witch.
And today we're doing the second in our series on the Combat Patrol boxes. And this time we're looking at my boys, Chaos. So
You
obviously.
filthy heretic, you.
Yep, that is me. All right. Um, so obviously there's a lot less of these than the Imperium ones. So yeah, let's just dive into it.
Okay. First one, the World Eaters Combat Patrol, which is quite a new one, with
Yes,
World
yes.
Eaters being a rather recent release. One might argue a pointless release, bearing in mind they came out at a point in 9th edition when the codex would be defunct within a few weeks.
Yeah. I think a lot of people who got the limited edition codex that was very quickly put out of date would be quite disappointed. But these are all brand spanking new models, and they're all pretty gorgeous models. And to be honest, like, there's a lot of berserkers there, and
There is.
that's going to be the core to a lot of World Eaters armies. Now, obviously, the big thing missing is Angron, who was in the Christmas Battle Force box that sold out instantly, which was pretty obvious that it was going to happen because, I mean, Angron's an expensive model. He's like 85, 90 quid or so.
Yeah, he costs about the same as this entire box.
Yes. Um, but yeah, I don't know what lists people are running in this, but there's no way you can really go wrong with a bunch of berserkers and the jackals, the human ones, and then the Lord on Juggernaut is just a classic model that just a remake of a classic model rather that. It's just so good. I've got that model myself. I'm looking forward to painting it at some point.
Yeah, they all look really good. The only disappointment for me is it doesn't have like a big centerpiece thing. But that's personal taste.
Yeah,
That's what I like in a combat patrol. So
I mean, the
yeah,
Juggernaut is fairly chunky on the table. It's not a huge model, but it's not. It's way bigger than like a biker or something. So
yeah,
it's got a bit of presence on the table.
yeah. I mean, if you were to expand on this, what would your next move be? If you started an army with this box, what would
The obvious next move is Angron.
yeah,
Everyone's going to want the Primarch. You get a Chaos army, you get it for a Demon Primarch, basically.
yeah,
And apart from like obviously demons and other factions that don't necessarily have
yeah.
them, but yeah, Angron is definitely going to want to be your next step. After that, you might want to look at getting some 8-bound, which is the other like unique unit. And then there's other things that are more generic to the Chaos
I
Space
mean,
Marines,
a
like your
few rhinos.
tanks and things.
Yeah, a few rhinos would be good because they're very melee
Yes,
focused. So
yes, you really
some
want to get these
rhinos,
guys
land
up in the
raiders.
enemy's face straight
Yeah,
away. That's the whole thing they're good at. So
yeah. I mean, I've
yeah,
seen a lot of battle reports using Corn Berserkers, and 9 times out of 10, they all start off in rhinos.
that's right. Yes, and so if I can get the counts right for this, it's 20 berserkers, right, and 10 jackals.
Let's find what it says. There it is. Uh,
Yep,
10 jackals, 20 berserkers, and a 1 World Eater's Lord on a Juggernaut, which can also be built as Lord Invocatus. And also sheets of transfers. So
yeah. So you're getting good value on this. Those berserkers are like 35, 40 quid a box. The jackals a bit cheaper. So I'd say basically you're getting the Juggerlord for free.
yeah,
That's the deal you're getting on these, and they're all new kits, so that's kind of unusual, or at least it was in these combat patrols. They're slowly being replaced by new models, but all brand spanking new models is great value.
oh yeah.
Right then,
Okay, what's next?
let's have a look. Chaos Demons. Now,
If I was Khorne oriented, because I do have a slightly heretical side, if I was Khorne oriented, I would love this, but I'm not. I'm Slanesh oriented, and so
yes.
yeah,
Now, until the combat patrols, all the Chaos Gods demons had their own box set.
yeah.
I don't know if Games Workshop still sells any of the older box sets. I haven't seen them around. But it's very mono-focused here, obviously. You've got the blood letters, which are obviously quite an old kit now. They're getting on a bit, but they're still perfectly fine models.
Yeah.
The Juggernaut Riders, I can never remember the name of that unit, but the Juggernaut Riding unit.
Bloodmaster,
Blood
3 Blood
Crushers.
Crushers, Flesh Hounds,
Yes.
and Blood Letters. There we go.
Yeah, they're a slightly newer kit. They're really good quality, and the Flesh Hounds are fairly new. They came out in 4 years ago or so. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a good mix of stuff. If you're getting Khorne demons, this is a great place to start. If you're getting any other demons,
It's not.
I will say I did prefer the Khorne start collecting that they used to do, because that came with the Skull Cannon or the Blood Throne.
Yeah.
And that's a great kit. I mean, I haven't built it as its intended purpose, but I've cut that up for so many conversions that it was very cool for.
Yeah. So it's basically some old and some not quite so old models, and
Yeah,
it only really serves like one faction of Chaos Demons. Which, if you're up for Khorne, then then it's grand. But
the
I mean,
value's all right in compared to what you'd pay for those units separately,
yeah,
but I don't think it's that good if you count in like the percentage of older kits and
yeah,
stuff that you might have got cheaper elsewhere previously.
I mean, I don't see what's stopping them doing a box for Demons of Tzeentch or Demons of Slanesh or Demons of Nurgle as well.
Yeah, maybe it's something they'll get round to at some point. I'd like to think they do.
Although one could argue that this set does for both 40k and Age of Sigmar.
Yep, that's a point of value for it, certainly.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Let's move on. And here we are, the regular Chaos Space Marines.
Now, this is interesting.
You've got the Dark Apostle with his 2 Dark Disciples, 10 Legionaries, 5 Havocs, and the old Hellbrute kit.
Yep. Now, this is a good kit. Like, I will say those are all good things to have, but it's slightly overshadowed by the previous Start Collecting Chaos Space Marines that it replaced, which was fairly new. And what it was the Chaos Space Marines half of Shadow Spear.
Yeah.
So you got stuff like the Obliterators, you got the Greater Possessed, you got the Master of Possession in there. And overall, I thought that, like, obviously those were all single pose, easy to build kits, but I think it was nice being able to get hold of that collection in one place, and it was a bit more of a coherent force. Now, the stuff you get in this is fantastic. The Hellbrute kit, amazing.
Yeah,
Chaos
it's
Space Marine
so
kit.
adaptable as well. There's so many options for it. Just grab yourself some magnets.
Oh, yeah. Again, it's another one that's a must for anyone who's looking to make crazy chaos conversions. There's so many pieces in that kit I've used for other stuff. The new Chaos Space Marines kit, great. The Havoc kit, great. Dark Apostle, also great. But yeah, it just I don't know. It feels like there's something missing, and I feel like it could be a good core of your force, but I just preferred the other one, and I just keep thinking of the older one.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if it was a different HQ or the Dreadnought had been swapped out with like a Mauler Fiend or something.
Yeah, Dark Apostle really works better with kind of cultist armies. So you're going to want to expand your cultists, and for this force, you might be better with a different HQ. Like maybe if they put Obsidious Malix, the Lord with the Thunderhammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good place to start. Fairly good value, but I'd say there were previously better places to start, and if you can get a hold of that, the Shadow Spear or the previous start collecting contents, that might be a nicer place to start.
Yeah, I get the feeling at some point it's going to be re-released in another set.
Yep, probably so.
Okay, so moving on to the next one.
Okay.
And Thousand Suns. Now, yeah.
Thousand Suns are an army that's fairly neglected. They got the one big release that was obviously like a crucial part of the story, bringing in like the Great Rift and like the heralding the fall of Cadia. But Thousand Suns themselves have never really got the love. They got the Zangor stuff moved over from Age of Sigmar to kind of fill in a lot of their army, and it's nice they've got mortal troops. It's great they've got mortal troops. I love that part of Chaos. But the main force is characters, basic rubrics, and the Terminators. I've forgotten the names now. Scroll down. The Scarab Occults, of course.
Terminators.
Yeah, the Infernal Masters, a new character model that's come out, and that's cool. Obviously, like the Exalted Sorcerer kit for these is the gold standard. That's just an amazing kit. Again, full of conversion opportunities. Absolutely great. You can build 3 of them. But yeah, the new Infernal Master is also like a good model. This would be a good expansion for an army, but I wouldn't say it's where you start. You want to start with some rubrics, basically.
I mean, it's only like 3 units as well, or at least 3 different units. Because you've got your HQ, you've got 5 Terminators and 20 Zangors, and it just doesn't.
It's definitely not a coherent force that you could use straight out of the box. You're missing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it would have been better to put like rubric marines instead of the Terminators in there, and maybe like a big thing to.
Thousand Suns could really do with like their own. They've got the Mutalist Vortex Beast, which is an awesome model from I think Warhammer the Old World. I don't even know if it's it is still in Age of Sigmar, but it goes way back. It's a fun characterful addition to the range, but it feels like they need something unique at that kind of larger scale. In terms of an army right now, and there's nothing in here to represent that anyway. So if you're playing Thousand Suns, you're going to want to do a lot of magic. And obviously the big one is getting Magnus as your just like magic beat stick who will just own everyone on the table.
And then there's also Ahriman as well.
Yes. In this force, you've got 1 sorcerer, I believe. The Scarab Occult squad leader is also a sorcerer, but you're going to want a bit more magic on the table as well.
Yeah. Because those Zangors, they're going to be squishy.
Yep, they are very squishy.
Even with psychic shenanigans and all sorts. Yeah, they're basically cannon fodder.
Yeah, in summary, Thousand Suns, it's a great army, great sculpts. Just needs some work to it as a faction, and this box is a bit disappointing, really.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. And
Death Guard. So, I haven't had a proper look at this box before. I'm noticing you actually get the multi-part Plague Marine kit,
Yeah, let's go
which
down.
is
Let's see
very
what we've got.
nice.
We've got Typhus, a Biologus Putrefier, 7 Plague Marines, and 30 Poxwalkers.
Now, this is a damn good starting box. I think a lot of people will have the stuff from Dark Imperium. I know it's been a few years, but there was so much of that stuff released that it's fairly easy to get on eBay for cheap or wherever you go. And Poxwalkers, yep, you're going to want a bunch of Poxwalkers. You need your meat shields with Death Guard. They can be so deadly when you get a massive horde of them just marching up on a unit and tearing them limb from limb.
Oh, yeah, I have witnessed that a few times myself.
The multi-part Plague Marine kit is absolute joy to build. I love that kit and all the options on it. Obviously, Plague Marines, they're not known as being the easiest to paint. You can simplify, obviously, but if you're going for every detail, you're going to be spending a long time.
Yeah.
They
Or
were one of the factions.
You could just do a little bit of dry brushing over some base coats and then slap on some streaking grime.
Exactly, yes, that works. But they were one of the factions where people started to complain about busyness on models and like over design. And you can, after having painted a bunch of these, yeah, I can definitely see where people are coming from, but I love them. They're so amazing. And obviously, Typhus, yeah, obviously great model. Someone you're going to want in all Death Guard armies. Well, not every single list you write, but you're going to want the model and you're going to want to play him every now and then. Obviously, the big next step from here is Mortarion.
Yeah.
Now,
and some Plague Burst crawlers as well.
Yes, Plague Burst crawlers
they give some range and some punch for an army that moves quite slowly and doesn't have much in the way of heavy weapons.
Those things are just really handy, low points. They can zip around a bit and just spray your enemies with all kind of nasty goo.
Yeah, and plague. What do you call them? The floaty ones, the drones, the plague drones.
Yes, the drones. Blight drones? No. Bloat drones, yes.
Bloat drones, that's it. Because I was thinking blight drones, but it's not blight drones. They're the big Forge World ones.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. They're quite funny and quite gross as well, which, I mean, if you're into, Death Guard, you've got to be into gross stuff because...
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, the bloat drone, the multi-part kit is quite expensive, and it's always been quite expensive, but it's got amazing options in it, stuff like the flesh mower that are really handy. But if you want them cheap, just get on eBay, get the ones that are in Dark Imperium, because there's lots of them. They've only got the one weapon option, but they're out there. You can always convert things.
Yeah. I mean, Death Guard are like one of the easiest ones to convert, because if the conversion comes out janky, it's it still fits the aesthetic. So yeah, but yeah, that's all of the Chaos ones. Which one would you go for if you were looking to start a Chaos army?
Right now, I would probably go with the World Eaters because largely because it's an army I don't have yet, and these are all kits that I don't have, but it's the newest set of kits. It's going to be a relatively good base for an army to build around, and it's just good value right now. And I think a lot of the other ones don't quite match that. I think next to that, I'd say probably the Death Guard and the Demons one, if you're particularly looking for Khorne demons.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does very much seem like they'll need to get some more out for the rest of the demons. And of course, my constant refrain is we need to get some more like mortal armies of chaos. That's what I'd love to see going forward. But out of what we got here, it is definitely World Eaters.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of hoping that when the new Astra Militarum Codex comes out, because the previous one had rules for Brood Brothers to go with Gene Stealer cults, I'd really like to be able to get Traitor Guard out of that as well.
Yes.
That would be fantastic.
I would absolutely go crazy. The day GW announced like Lost and the Damned as a faction or Traitor Guard or something like that, I'm all in.
I mean, even if it's just a couple of pages in the Codex saying if this is a Traitor Guard battalion or whatever, just replace the word Imperium with Chaos.
Yeah, one of my favorite things from like second edition was where you could just literally like take any. Okay, if you're like a human, no matter whether you like Chaos or Gene Stealer cults or Imperium, you've got access to the same vehicles basically, because that's how it works. And I know they want to try and kind of separate factions and give them more character and stuff, just because it's easier to keep control of like the army lists if they're all if they don't kind of switch between factions or whatever. But
but they'd sell a hell of a lot more Bane Blades and Lehman Russes and everything if you could take them as a Chaos player as well. They wouldn't even have to update the range or anything. Just say you can play this kit in a Chaos army, and then fantastic.
Yep. Right. Well, I think that's the lot for this episode. We're going to come back and cover the Xenos combat patrols next time, so keep an eye out for that, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, and find us on Facebook. Come and talk with us. We're lonely.
That one, yep. Right then. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.